I'm going to reveal some things to you that most professionals in the real estate industry have no concept of. I'm going to bring you some charts out of the St. Louis Fed itself, talking about showing how serious or how dire actually this situation with the consumer is, how many delinquencies we have in real estate right now. I'm going to share a story about commercial real estate, and I'm going to share a testimony from one of the people that are going through my courses on how to get ready for this right now. And the reason why I'm going to share it is because I get amazing compliments every day from these courses, and I want to teach people in a totally different way. As this real estate crash happens, I want you armed with so much information, facts, and truth, and then the ability to put it together and do something, actually take action now, so that this leads to the greatest time of your life, quite frankly. All right, so let's see, where do we start? Let me start. I've got, again, the St. Louis data I'm going to share with you and a news story. Let me do this. This is from Travis. He's someone that purchased the real estate course. Check this out. And I'm going to answer some questions right in front of you because I think a lot of people want to know this. Thank you so much for your quality content, the content that you put out. I've been listening to you for literally over a year. I know it must be hard sometimes to keep pushing out content and trying to convince people that you are trying to help them. And I pray that you never quit spreading the truth and knowledge. I should have purchased your content way earlier, but I have been scammed before and have purchased so much content that just says the same old thing that I've heard 1,000 times on YouTube by other creators. And you take all that info, double it, and spread it generously. I am very much appreciative of that. I have listened to your course twice fully through. I hear that all the time, that people have watched this course all the way through, and there's over like 35 videos in there. And this is just the beginning. I would like to look into buying REO properties, which stand for real estate owned, but I would probably need lending. It would take a pretty big pile of money to buy a house cash, and then you may need another pile of money to finance repairs on the house, not to mention the money it will cost to find the house, pay for inspections, and the costs that you don't even think about. Could you discuss if there are any lending opportunities for financing a property like that? So first, I want to answer that. I have done these courses in a series for a specific reason. And I'm doing this first off, it is very purpose driven because I have given advice or ideas to people to go running right out and do them, and it was not the proper time. Timing is 100% about what this real estate crash course is about. Knowing when to get in and when to get out at the proper time. It will save you literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. I am releasing a class that I am auto-enrolling all of the students of this course in next week. And once that's over, then it's over. That's not going to happen again. And that's called the Home Seller Pro course. I take all of the information that I gleaned when I was selling homes on the last crash and how to move my house and have that advantage over everybody else. In future lessons, I am going to be bringing out information for students on how to take it to the next level, identify the properties, get the financing, the difference between good loans and bad loans, all of that. But if I put it out right now, people will run with it and they turn around and go, this was not the time. You will see the perfect timing coming out in 2024, when to take these steps. But if you aren't taking the basic steps right now to clear up your balance sheet, see these cycles, study the cycles and trends right now, you are going to be out of the loop and you're not going to have that advantage over anyone else. So there's the answer to that question. And it says here, second question that he has is, where do you look to find people? You have REO agents, bankers, brokers, contractors, home inspections, insurance representatives, and a number of other people that you need for helping in this. I've listened to several books about real estate investing and listened to even more YouTube videos and podcasts, and they all say find good people, but I've looked and I have a hard time finding them. I've touched on this a little bit in the course, but I will make an additional lesson on exactly how to find these people, because there actually are proven ways that I found these people and where to find them in town and how to vet them properly. So I wanted to share this with you because it's very important that you hear actual testimonials And I have to be honest with you, I've never faked a testimonial on my course. People lie that sell courses and they make their own testimonials. I think I have 3. And I ask people to give those to me because I find that if I lie or deceive people, I will not be a success and you will not be a success. End of story. Now we're going to dive into this information about real estate, and I want to thank Travis for that email too. So hopefully this answers your questions. First off, we're going to go into a story about distressed CRE loans. They're surging nationwide. And then I'm going to give you the data from the St. Louis Fed, which shows delinquency rates on credit card loans. It shows commercial real estate delinquencies, all kinds of stuff. All right. And when you think CRE, I want you to start thinking big money. Big money. Okay. I know if you may have a single home or you have a couple rentals and you're thinking, oh, that's not going to affect me. It's going to affect you very seriously because it is taking down the banks right now. All right. Oh, with that being said, this week the last time the real estate crash course will ever be offered at 75% off. That's $250, and you'll get 2 classes for the price of 1 because I'm auto enrolling everyone at the end of the week when that course is done with the editor, uploaded and finished. And you'll have 2 courses for the price of 1. There's a few links down in the description below. Okay, here we go. This is out of the Real Deal real estate news website. Troubled loans tied to office buildings across the U.S. are on the rise, with commercial borrowers in Chicago, Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco among the hardest hit. The rate of delinquency, or specially serviced commercial mortgage-backed securities 2.0 loans, rose to 6.8% in August, which is up from 4.5% in June last year. The Silicon Valley business, and to give you some scope, at the peak in the 2008 crisis, delinquencies on mortgage-backed securities, regular mortgages, the peak, absolute peak, was 10.8%. All right, so let's give some scope here. We're talking about a type of mortgage that is much bigger, a type of loan, commercial real estate. We're talking big money, hundreds of millions of dollars per loan, right? Right now, they went from 4.5% delinquent to 6.8%. All right. We did not have commercial real estate collapsing in 2008. All right. I also want you to remember that the peak of mortgage-backed security failures happened in 2009, not 2007, not 2008. Okay. Well into this crash. Okay. So we are already collapsing right now. I want people to understand this is what collapse looks like. This is what it feels like. This is what I went through after I liquidated 90% of my real estate portfolio in 2006, and I witnessed what was going on in 2007. All right? All right. It says here, more properties face foreclosures as landlords struggle to fill vacant offices while refinancing. I want you to also realize this. This is very important to understand. It's not just offices that are taking this down. It's apartment buildings. We're talking about 100plexes, 250 units, properties. They're coming down because the companies that own them are not able to refinance them at a favorable rate because they had, much lower rates a couple of years ago when they got them, 5 years ago to be specific. They're now going in to refinance them. The properties are not penciling out. Okay, this is very serious. So don't let the news sway you and think that commercial real estate is all about, your local Lowe's or a restaurant or a strip mall. It is about commercial real estate being living units as well. Those are the big ones that we're really seeing start taking their hits. And real estate investment trusts are already taking massive losses. We just saw one claim file bankruptcy last week. We're going to see many more REITs fail in this next 12 months. Now it says CMBS 2.0. Conduit loans made after the Great Recession make up $600 billion in commercial real estate debt, or 13% of the $4.5 trillion of commercial real estate debt market. The national office distress rate was 8%. Of the nation's top 20 markets, the distress rate of commercial mortgage-backed securities loans last month was 7.2%, according to KBRA, after rising in 15 cities. Chicago tops the list for troubled loans at 22.7%, followed by Denver at 19.1%, Philadelphia at 14.2%, and San Francisco at 13.9%. The rate of distressed commercial debt was nearly 14% in Houston, more than 7% in New York, and approaching 6% in Los Angeles. A smaller number of loans backed by large office properties has generally driven distress rates higher in major markets. Roy Chun, Senior Managing Director and Head of CMBS Surveillance at KBRA, told the Business Journal, but he said some markets show an increase in distressed loans because of other properties. In Houston, for instance, the hotel delinquency rate hit 56.1%. Do you remember when I told you that travel and leisure was going to take a hit in 2023? We have already seen massive vacancy rates in hotels skyrocket this year, and we've also seen airline tickets plummet. Just recently, they've risen because of what's happening in the hyperinflation in fuel. But you have to realize that they're getting hit as well because they have fewer people traveling. End of story. Let me move to these charts. Now, the camera's going to be turned around because I've got to see where I frame in the camera. But I'm going to show you this first chart out of the Federal Reserve's St. Louis Fed website. This is the delinquency rate on credit card loans. All right. Now, these are the banks that are not among the 100 largest at size in assets. Okay. So we're talking smaller banks, not small banks, but anything outside of the top 100 banks. Okay. And we're going to keep this chart going from 2003, 2002 to now. Okay, so it's backwards, right? So you see obviously down here, 2003, 2002. We see right here where we went through the Great Recession. We see the rate of delinquencies in credit card, right? Now we know that credit card debt is at an all-time high. But check this out. You see this run up right here. Look at how bad the economy was doing right before COVID. Isn't that a crazy thing? I told you that they made this up, right? And this is how bad the country was. In 2018, 2019, we were facing a massive recession and they needed something to bail us out. This was the spike, the recession that was created because the economy closed down, right? Look at where we're at now. We're actually higher today. So that amount of people that are not paying, they're behind in their credit card debts. So banks are not able to take that income in. If they don't take that income in, they have a liquidity crisis. If they don't take those payments in, that's less money in their deposits to be able to go out and make other loans at interest to be able to keep their doors open. This is how serious it is with the banks. If you're not preparing for this real estate crisis, man, I mean, I guess it just leaves more opportunities for all of us. This right here, same website. This is the delinquency rate on lease financing of receivables. Now, not a lot of people know this, and this is, again, not the top 100 banks by asset size, okay? So this is all the other banks, all of the banks outside of the top 100, okay? Not many people understand what factoring is. Let me give you a really brief overview of factoring because it's actually one of the biggest money makers for banks, and banks don't like talking about it. I really hate how this system works. Let me give you a brief example. Let's say you own a business and you make a widget and you sell that widget to Walmart. You send them an invoice. You say this invoice is net 30. Well, you can't within Walmart because they force you to go like net 60, net 90, which means that you send them this invoice and they have whatever that request is, that many days to pay you on that invoice. Well, when you're a small company or even a mid-sized company and you're putting out a lot of product, Walmart makes this massive purchase. Let's say you send them a $1 million invoice. They go, well, we don't have to pay you for our agreement is 90 days. So now you need to go and buy more materials to go make more widgets. But that money's not coming for 90 days. What happens is the banks offer something similar to a bridge loan. They say, hey, what we'll do is we'll loan you money on that asset in their book, that invoice. We know that Walmart has a certain percentage they're going to pay you. And so let's say you're $1 million. They go, you know what? We'll give you essentially, I'm going to make this really clean, but after all, we're going to loan you the money, but we want this much back. So on $1 million, they might go, we want 10%. So you're going to only get a check for $900,000. You owe that difference, right? Back to the bank. That's a very brief overview, but factoring is how the banks make most of their money. All right. So this is a very important chart that I'm going to show you. Again, we're going to go to 2000, right before the dot-com crash, right before. So we're going to start in 2001, okay? I want people to understand this is how very serious this is because, again, this is the delinquency rate on lease financing receivables, okay? So companies are now more and more delinquent with the bank on these loans. All right, this is 2001. we went into the crash, right, in the recession, and look at that spike. Let me go turn on the light real quick. All right, so even after the recession of 2001, after the dot-com bust happened, companies continually spiked higher in their non-payment. Then they came down and we treaded water until we saw the Great Recession. And this Great Recession, because now think about this, companies were building things, they were sending things to Walmart, and then they were slow paying them. They were having a hard time selling things, right? So they were becoming more and more delinquent with the banks. This spikes again, right? Going up into, it topped 2009 and another peak in 2010. So now we dropped, and you might think, okay, this is fine. And then you look right here, we're just treading water up and down, up and down, up and down. This is the recession that was created by COVID. Now look at this. We are sitting at an all-time high. If you look back here, the last time we saw this peak, this amount was right here in quarter two of 2013. That's right here, right? This is where we're at. We have not seen this many delinquencies for that long. Thank you, Jughead. Appreciate the super chat. So we need to realize where we're at as a country and as an economy. But check this out. I've got another one right here. And I think this tells a lot of truth too. This is the delinquency rate on commercial real estate loans, excluding farmland, okay? Commercial real estate loans. This chart goes back to 2019 when I said it was getting pretty bad. This is 2019 and then moving into COVID. Do you remember when I told you that the interbank lending rate spiked to 12.5%, the banks loaning other banks money to stay solvent overnight based on the loans they made compared to deposits? Okay, the bottom of this number, the delinquency rate on commercial real estate, came in quarter three of 2019 right here, okay? Before this recession in the spring of 2020, we saw it start spiking. Things were bad. It peaked out right there at quarter four of 2020, and then it fell for a couple of years. It bottomed right here, quarter three of 2022. Now look, we're taking off again, all right? Every time the delinquency rate increases for companies on commercial rate loans, credit card loans, that's less money coming into the bank that's owed to the bank because they made those loans, and that's less money that they have to stay solvent, stay liquid. We're going to see a liquidity crisis in the banking sector this fall. It all kicks off essentially the 1st of October. You're going to see crazy stories in the next 3 months, which are going to tighten lending for mortgages even more, which is going to create an opportunity in real estate for you that is greater than you've ever seen possible. The question is, are you taking action right now? Are you firming up your balance sheet, selling off extra stuff, coming up with extra lines of income, funnels? Every day, I'm grateful for your emails and your comments and your compliments on the course, because I am a different kind of teacher. I can guarantee you've never taken a course like this because you've never had a teacher that's actually been through the last cycle on both sides. Most people that talk about real estate have only known a time of prosperity. They have no idea that they're going to get clobbered and they're going to find themselves in bankruptcy. I'm not going to teach that way. I'm going to teach an awesome way that teaches you when to get in and get out. And that information has to come slowly. So I'm treating these courses, these lessons, like a consulting job, because business owners around the world know this. And type it down below if you agree. When you're a business owner, you can only take in so much information at one time, but there's also the difference of great information and the right information at the right time. And that's what you need to realize. And that's why I built these courses like this. This is the last week that deal's ever going to be around. It's $250, 75% off. And you're going to be auto-enrolled in the next course. I was going to keep it quiet as a surprise, but then I'm like, well, if I kept it a surprise, then all of a sudden people get upset. Like, I would have bought it if you told me. I just get it out there. So the Home Seller Pro course will be included as of next week, and then that will never happen again too. Hope you have a great day. There's a few links down below. The Economic Ninja is out.